Website launched by the RNC, by the way. Internet browsers are asked to drag and drop what Republicans call the top 5 Obama leisure activities or missteps that have made them most angry. Not to be outdone, Democrats have just launched their own mocking website called bprepublicans.com. It features Republicans the DNC claims are in the back pocket of the British oil giant. Brad Woodhouse is Communications Director for the Democratic National Committee. Doug Heye is Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Chris.
Good morning.
Doug, are Republicans saying the president shouldn't get any downtime, that somehow no work is being done to fix the Gulf oil spill if he's playing a round of golf?
Well, certainly the president's entitled to have some downtime, but what we've seen is the president said that he was never going to rest until this was fixed, and he's got his third vacation coming up. He's played at least 40 rounds of golf since he was president, and what's important is the president sets the tone. President Bush decided he wasn't going to play any golf anymore as president because it set the wrong signal to the troops. That was the right decision, and again, demonstrates a real tone. If this White House can criticize the CEO of BP for going yachting while this has happened, and we think that was a valid criticism, then the president ought to do the right thing, put down the clubs, let's focus on fixing this.
Brad, let me read you a statement from RNC Chairman Michael Steele.
Sure.
Quote, while communities along the Gulf Coast are reeling from the devastating economic and environmental impact of the ongoing spill, it is beyond offensive that this president would even think of scheduling a tea time. How much further out of touch can President Obama get? Do you think that he's right, at least to the extent that we're seeing these kinds of numbers for the president in this latest poll?
Hey, Chris, let me tell you something. On the scale of 1 to 10 on the crap meter, this gets an 11 for crap, what the Republicans are doing here. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example. They're criticizing the president for having gone home to his private residence in Chicago with his family for the weekend. I mean, that is really beyond the pale. And they're also suggesting somehow...
let me just point this out. There were more than a few Democrats who would criticize President Bush when he was on his ranch in Texas or playing golf. So are we being a little disingenuous here?
Well, look, I think they are being disingenuous. And I think if you look at the scale, there's nowhere near President Obama has not taken anywhere near as much time off as President Bush had at this point in the presidency. But that's really beyond the point. What the Republicans are suggesting is the president's not engaged. He's been to the Gulf numerous times. And look, this is really an effort to distract from the fact that Republicans are apologizing to BP. I mean, remember, Republicans criticized the president for forcing BP to set up an escrow fund to take care of Gulf Coast residents' impacts from the spill. They apologized to BP, Chris. They should really be apologizing for that instead of doing
Doug,
what they're doing.
It is sort of the centerpiece of this new DNC website called bprepublicans.com. It features Congressman Joe Parton's now infamous apology to BP. So is this a real problem for the Republicans?
No, it's not. At the end of the day, the Democrats are in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. It's their responsibility. We want everybody to work forward towards this goal. But look, we have a real problem that we have a president whose initial inclination is not to pick up the phone and call BP and fix this problem, not to send somebody down from the cabinet for 10 days. He picks up the phone and makes a tea time. That's a real problem, and it demonstrates a lackadaisical approach to the presidency that it's not the Republicans who are talking about this. I can tell you the communications department at the Republican National Committee didn't put out a tweet, didn't put out a press release on this until Obama's speech. What we saw real criticism was from Democrats like James Carville and Terry McAuliffe. And if the DNC wants to say that James Carville is politicizing this issue, that's for the left to argue amongst themselves. We just want this problem fixed.
Brad, do Democrats or do Republicans, do you guys really want to be taking shots at each other? Do you want to be putting up these websites at a time when, frankly, the American people seem to be fed up with people in Congress, fed up with the president, fed up with the people in power? Isn't there plenty of blame to go around? Is this the most constructive use of both parties' time?
Well, look, I think there's plenty of blame to go around. But for Doug to sit there and defend Republicans apologizing to BP, for him to sit there and defend them calling the BP escrow fund a shakedown or extortion is really beyond the pale. I mean, this president has forced BP to set aside $20 billion. It's unprecedented, with no strings attached to help take care of Gulf Coast residents. How could anybody be critical of that?
I would say that the people who were most critical of this administration were James Carville, Terry McAuliffe, Senator Bill Nelson from Florida. Those are all Democrats.
Look, Doug, you're the ones that have up a website criticizing the president for going to his home in Chicago for 3 days, one day of which he spent in the Gulf, by
Brad,
the way.
Doug, have to let that be the last word, but thank you, gentlemen. It's good
Thanks,
to talk
Chris.
to both
George
of you.
Stein